NATO's role in countering Russia's influence in the post-Soviet space. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, has been a cornerstone of Western security since its establishment in 1949. Originally formed as a counterbalance to the Soviet Union's expansionism, NATO has since expanded both its membership and its strategic objectives. One of those objectives is countering Russia's influence in the post-Soviet space. Russia has long been a dominant presence in the former Soviet states. Its influence is felt in everything from politics to economics to culture. The Kremlin sees the region as its near abroad and has worked hard to maintain its hegemony over its neighbors. However, since the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, the countries of the post-Soviet space have sought to break free from Russian dominance and assert their independence. This has put NATO in a difficult position. On the one hand, the alliance is committed to supporting the sovereignty and territorial integrity of its member states. On the other hand, it has a vested interest in promoting stability and democracy in the post-Soviet region. To balance these competing interests, NATO has pursued a two-pronged approach: engagement and deterrence. Engagement involves working with the post-Soviet states to promote democracy, economic development, and regional cooperation. This includes providing technical assistance, training, and financial aid to help these countries build strong, stable institutions that can resist Russian influence. For example, NATO has established the Partnership for Peace program, which provides a framework for cooperation between the alliance and non-member countries in the region. Deterrence, on the other hand, involves using military force to prevent Russian aggression. This includes stationing troops and equipment in the Baltic states, Poland, and Romania to deter any potential Russian aggression in the region. NATO has also conducted exercises, such as the Sabre Strike exercise, to improve its ability to respond to any Russian moves in the region. Perhaps the most visible example of NATO's role in countering Russia's influence in the post-Soviet space is its support for Ukraine. Following the ouster of pro-Russian President Viktor Yanukovych in 2014, Russia annexed Crimea and began supporting separatist rebels in Ukraine's eastern Donbass region. NATO has responded by providing Ukraine with military aid, including weapons, ammunition, and training. The alliance has also increased its presence in the Black Sea region, conducting more frequent patrols and exercises in response to increased Russian activity. At the same time, NATO has also pursued a policy of constructive engagement with Russia. The alliance recognizes that while Russia is a potential threat, it is also an important player in international affairs. For this reason, NATO has sought to maintain channels of communication and cooperation with Moscow on issues of mutual interest, such as counterterrorism and arms control. This approach is summed up in NATO's mantra of strong defense, dialogue, and deterrence. Despite NATO's efforts, Russian influence in the post-Soviet space remains strong. The Kremlin continues to use a variety of tools, including energy exports, propaganda, and military force, to maintain its influence over the region. Russia's annexation of Crimea and support for separatist rebels in eastern Ukraine have been particularly destabilizing and have led to a breakdown in relations between Russia and the West. The situation in Belarus, where a disputed election in August 2020 led to widespread protests and demonstrations, has added new complications to the post-Soviet space. Russia supports Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko, while the West has condemned his crackdown on opposition figures and journalists. NATO has thus far taken a cautious approach to Belarus, emphasizing the need for a peaceful resolution to the crisis that respects the will of the Belarusian people. The future of NATO's role in countering Russia's influence in the post-Soviet space is uncertain. Russia's growing assertiveness in the region, coupled with the ongoing conflict in Ukraine and the crisis in Belarus, will continue to pose challenges for the alliance. At the same time, NATO's commitment to democracy, human rights, and the rule of law will remain firm. As the world changes, so too must NATO's approach to countering Russian influence. But one thing is clear: the alliance's commitment to ensuring the security and stability of the post-Soviet space will remain a vital pillar of Western security for years to come.